Welcome into the Sports Blitz social scene presented by Lee Marketing Group and the Sure Shot. I'm your host, Randy Lee Jr. The Sports Blitz social scene will be a weekly one-on-one interview with coaches, players, even businesses that support athletics in our communities around Alabama. This week, we catch up with Benjamin Russell High School legend Dwight Buzbee, a former player, coach, as well as an athletic director here at Benjamin Russell High School. Coach Buzbee is a member of the Alabama High School Sports Hall of Fame.
The Sure Shot, located on Highway 280 in Alexander City, is Lake Martin Sportsman's headquarters. In the market for a new rifle or shotgun? Come to the Sure Shot. Want a new bow or need to practice with the one you have? Come to the Sure Shot. Thinking about a firearm for self-defense? Come to the Sure Shot. Got a hunt planned and need some gear? Come to the Sure Shot. For all your archery, shooting, and hunting needs, let the Sure Shot be your first stop.
I'm Dwight Buzbee. I graduated in the class of 1971, wrestled in heavyweight and 191 throughout that time. I was a real big heavyweight at 200 pounds. The thing I hang my hat on most as far as the team accomplishments, I was on the last state championship team in 1969. And then, unfortunately, we finished second in the next 2 years in 1970 and 71. And really, the loss in 71 was just by a couple of points, and that was a really devastating one. Our junior year, Butler was kind of ended the run, and that was to be expected. I think we saw that one coming, but the next year, our senior year, was probably one of the most disappointing things as far as a competitor that we had to go through. When we came here wrestling, of course, he was also a football coach too, so it was a good thing he was able to get athletes to compete in both sports and was able to pick out, the guys he wanted to wrestle as well. And but wrestling had grown. Of course, the big thing back then, there was just one class at that particular time, so everybody competed against each other. But Benjamin Russell's domination during the 60s had just helped everything. And then that's one thing so many people forget with Coach Lee that may be different from the way it is today, was how much he promoted the sport with other schools. He would go out, help them establish programs, serve as a mentor to coaches at other schools. He would also, of course, he took the wrestlers here to different camps and those kind of things. So he promoted the sport as well as, being a good coach too. And that's where it led to the growth throughout the state. And as I said earlier, someone asked, what was his big thing to be recognized with this honor this weekend in the Hall of Fame. When you earn the title Father of High School Wrestling in the state of Alabama, that pretty well sums it up.
What value would you gain working with Lee Marketing Group? With 4 divisions under one umbrella, Sign Source, Lee Apparel, R&B Sports Media, and LMG Advertising Agency, Lee Marketing Group offers a comprehensive approach. From logo design, tees and signs, ad placement, and everything in between, LMG can handle it all. For ease of time, cutting-edge, results-driven marketing campaigns, think LMG. Lee Marketing Group, your comprehensive marketing solution.
Of course, Coach Umbach established a program in Auburn, and then my understanding is Coach Lee had worked with him when he was a student in Auburn as a student assistant. And so when he came to Benjamin Russell and then was able to start the program, naturally there was a bond there between the two of them. And so they continued to work together, and everything kind of the same way. Coach Umbach was real big in promoting the sport. I can even remember him being at state tournaments when I came back to coach later, being at state tournaments to present the awards after the finals and things like that. So yeah, both of them together worked hand in hand to promote the sport throughout the state. He worked you hard. He expected you to do the best you could do and would push you to everything, but then he also had that, it kind of gets to be a knack of knowing when to walk up and kind of back off of you a little bit too. And that's so hard when you're in coaching because you think just work them harder. But sometimes, it's good to just say, okay, let's kind of take a day and ease off. The other thing was his conditioning, and that's what made us comment that even if he was coaching football or wrestling, it wasn't going to be anybody any better shape than we were. And if you expect, if you got into the third period, we expected to win. Well, we were fortunate enough, or I was fortunate enough to coach some really good kids in the early 80s. We won the state championship in 81, 82, and 83. But that's what people ask me, what did I get from Coach Lee when I was coaching? Somebody would have come into one of his practices and then came into one of mine as far as the way they were organized and conducted. Organization was exactly the same. As I said, maybe some of the techniques had been a little bit different, but fundamentals are fundamentals. We were still, we used the basic fundamentals that I'd learned from him. But, as far as practice organization was the big thing. As I said, practice schedules would have been exactly the same as he had done it. And the conditioning aspect, the tradition here for wrestlers, and you talk to any former wrestler at Benjamin Russell, the first question they're going to ask is, do they still run the halls? And that was the thing that Coach Lee made, I guess, his trademark here, is that, you were going to be in shape. And so we did that as well. I mean, the conditioning aspect of it, and as I've said, regardless of which sport you're in, it doesn't matter if you're football, baseball, basketball, a coach may not know a lot about the sport, but one thing he can do is have you in shape. And so that's what was kind of one of his trademarks. Well, at that particular, when we were, as we said, we were down towards the end of Coach's career, but the things like we said, the Mann brothers, the Foshis, Buster Sellers was one, Larry Hill, Chester Neely, it just goes on and on. It's like a who's who of people. And, and then the remarkable thing about all those guys too, not only were they successful wrestlers, but they've gone on and been successful people, great fathers, representatives in their communities. And so it was that Randy Lee, Scotty Howell, Ricky McQuiston. We could just go on and on naming guys who had wrestled during that time that, as we said, have just made trademarks throughout the communities wherever they've been. The inaugural class of the Alabama chapter of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. The National Wrestling Hall of Fame is actually located in Stillwaters, Oklahoma. And so what's happened, some of us have gotten together, and there are various states that have, some states, don't have chapters, and others do. And so what we have done is actually started an Alabama chapter that is part of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. And so what we did, we tried to go back and say, okay, who has dedicated, there's a lifetime service award that they recognize. And so this class actually has 6 individuals who are going to be recognized with that. And someone asked the criteria of getting in is the state chapter has to nominate the award winners, but actually the organization in Stillwaters has final approval. So even though the board of directors for the Alabama chapter or the state chapters nominate, they have to be submitted to the National Hall of Fame in Stillwaters, and they're the ones that actually then make the final selection. So even though we would, select someone and nominate them, may still not, be accepted in Oklahoma. So it is a national award. And then what will happen after the induction then is you go into the museum out there, each state chapter then will have an interactive video where you can go on, select that state chapter, and then pull up the people who have been inducted and see their accomplishments.
June will mark 10 years of providing quality t-shirts, athletic uniforms, and promotional products for Lee Apparel. Our success is due in large part to the customers we serve in the Lake Martin community and the great state of Alabama. Our hopes are for many more years of success and growth. Contact Lee Apparel today at 256-825-0197 or on the web at leeapparel.com. Thanks for tuning in to this week's Sports Blitz Social Scene. Special thanks to our sponsors, the Sure Shot on Highway 280 in Alexander City, as well as LMG in our 4 divisions, Lee Apparel, Sign Source, LMG Advertising Agency, and R&B Sports Media. If you have ideas for future shows, please contact me at randy@sportsblitzlive.com. Until next week, thanks for tuning in to this week's Sports Blitz Social Scene.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization, wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat, full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.